The night is heavy. The olive trees whisper secrets to the wind. Jesus walks alone along the dim path, his eyes reflecting the flicker of distant lanterns. In his heart, a storm of sorrow rages, for he knows the hand that will strike him from the inside. Judas sits nearby, fidgeting, torn between devotion and desire, shadows crossing his face like a prophecy he cannot bear to hear. Could one who walks beside you betray the soul that loves them most? Can destiny demand the unbearable and leave the heart unscathed? Jesus pauses, his gaze lifting to the heavens, a silent question trembling on his lips. A prayer he does not voice. The night itself seems to hold its breath. Somewhere, the weight of impending betrayal presses upon both their souls, and the world waits in silence. The disciples gather quietly in the upper room, the firelight flickering against worn walls. Peter fidgets with his hands. Mary's gaze is steady yet worried. John leans against the wall in quiet contemplation. Conversations die before they begin, the air thick with unspoken questions. Jesus' eyes meet each one briefly, and in that silence, he speaks without words, a warning and a comfort intertwined. Judas sits at the table, distant yet near, the tension between him and the teacher palpable. Who among us will falter when the weight of truth becomes unbearable? Can loyalty survive the whisper of temptation? The candlelight dances across faces, and the room itself seems to tremble under the weight of destiny yet to unfold. The night deepens. Jesus steps outside, the cool air brushing his face. Shadows stretch across the stone courtyard as he contemplates the path ahead. A voice within questions the justice of what must come to pass. The stars above are witnesses to a love that will not waver, even in the face of ultimate betrayal. Could one heart endure the knowledge of another's failure? Can divine patience withstand human weakness? Every leaf, every stone seems to hold a secret he alone must carry. Judas walks alone toward the outer walls of the city, darkness shielding his intent. His footsteps echo against cobblestones, a rhythm of conflict beating in his chest. He recalls moments of kindness, miracles witnessed, laughter shared. Yet, the weight of greed and fear clouds judgment. Can remorse coexist with desire? Is the path chosen by the heart ever truly the one that destiny intends? The city sleeps oblivious, while one soul teeters on the edge of eternity, and the other watches silently, knowing yet powerless to stop what must unfold. Back in the olive grove, Jesus pauses beneath an ancient tree. The air is thick with anticipation, every sound magnified. The rustle of leaves, the distant call of a night bird, the quiet of a heart knowing sorrow. His gaze drifts toward the path Judas must take, and for a moment, grief and mercy entwine. Will love endure the treachery to come? Even as betrayal approaches, a divine tear falls silently, unseen, yet eternal. The night holds its breath, waiting for the first step that will change history. 1. The upper room is alive with quiet murmurs, the scent of bread and wine mingling with candle smoke. Jesus reclines, his eyes scanning each disciple, seeing their hearts more clearly than they see themselves. Peter fidgets with a worn robe, trying to hide his anxiety. Mary Magdalene watches silently, her gaze steady, understanding without words. Judas sits apart, fingers nervously tracing the edge of a cup. Jesus breaks the bread, hands trembling slightly, though his voice is calm, each word carrying weight. "One of you will betray me," he says, not as accusation, but as revelation. A hush falls over the room. The question hangs in the air. If love foretells pain, can loyalty endure? Can the heart remain steadfast when shadow approaches disguised as friend? Jesus pours wine into a cup, holding it before his disciples. "This is my blood given for you," he says softly, voice carrying both sorrow and love. The disciples glance at one another, understanding yet unsettled. Judah's eyes flicker with guilt and desire, unsure if he should act now or delay. Peter clenches his fists under the table, heart pounding, a storm of loyalty and fear waging within. Mary Magdalene leans closer to Jesus, her hand almost touching his. Can mercy be offered to those who will turn against you? And if it can, is the heart strong enough to give it freely? Silence stretches across the room like a living thing, pregnant with prophecy and unspoken dread. Peter leans closer to John, whispering questions of loyalty and destiny, yet unable to speak aloud, the fear curling in his chest. Jesus watches them, voice low but steady. Even now, the shepherd tends to his flock, knowing the wolf walks among them. The disciples exchange glances, hearts beating with unease. Judas sits silently, pretending calm, yet every muscle in his body betrays the conflict raging within. Can love truly encompass betrayal, or is it shattered at first sight of treachery? The night air presses against the windows, carrying the whisper of destiny as a shadow passes through the room, unseen, yet profoundly felt. Jesus rises slowly, his robe brushing the floor, and moves to Judas, placing a gentle hand on his shoulder. "What you are about to do quickly," he whispers, voice full of sorrow and compassion. Judas flinches, a mixture of fear, guilt, and inevitability crossing his face. Peter grips the edge of the table, ready to intervene yet frozen by awe and uncertainty. Mary Magdalene leans forward, eyes glistening, sensing the gravity of the moment. Can forgiveness precede betrayal? Can a heart wounded in advance still beat in love? The room seems to hold its breath, a suspended heartbeat before the storm. The meal ends in silence, the disciples uneasy, Judas slipping away into the night under the pretense of errands. Jesus watches him leave, heart heavy but full of compassion. A single tear glimmers in his eye, unnoticed by all but the stars. Can love endure the steps that betray it? And if it can, does the heart ever truly stop mourning what it will soon lose? The door closes softly behind Judas, the night swallowing his shadow, and the room remains, a silent witness to destiny unfolding, mercy intertwined with sorrow, the weight of what must come pressing upon every soul present. The moon casts silver light over the olive grove, leaves trembling in the cool night air. Jesus kneels on the damp earth, hands clasped, face lifted to the heavens, sweat mixing with the dew on his brow. The weight of destiny presses upon him, a sorrow too deep for words. "Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me," he whispers, a tremor in his voice, yet surrender laces each word. Around him the disciples sleep uneasily, heads bowed, shoulders trembling, unaware of the storm in his soul. Can one heart carry the burden of all humanity? Can divine love endure the anticipation of betrayal? The silence is broken only by the rustle of leaves, the quiet heartbeat of a world awaiting salvation. Peter shifts uncomfortably, murmuring in sleep, then stirs awake, blinking at the shadows around him. John leans against a tree, restless, sensing a heaviness that presses against the night. Jesus rises, pacing slowly, robe brushing the earth, eyes filled with anguish yet serene with purpose. Judas, unseen in the darkness, moves closer, heart pounding, shadows hiding intent. Can love anticipate betrayal without breaking? Can the heart of God grieve in silence for the choices of men? Every step, every breath, echoes in the still night, as if the earth itself mourns what is to come. The wind stirs, carrying a distant murmur from the city below. Jesus stops, breathing heavy, eyes glistening, head bowed in silent communion. The disciples murmur, awakening fully now, drawn by a sense of impending doom. "Watch and pray so you will not fall into temptation," Jesus says softly, each word soaked in urgency and love. Peter swallows hard, heart pounding, fingers gripping the edge of his garment. Judas takes a hesitant step forward, the moment of decision approaching. How does one bear the agony of knowing all hearts are fragile? Can grace endure the betrayal written in every soul? A rustle closer to the path. Judas appears, cloak dark against the night, lantern in hand. His eyes flicker with fear and resolve. Jesus turns, gaze piercing yet tender, as if seeing the storm in Judas' soul. "Friend," he says softly, a weight of eternity in one word. "Do what you came to do." The disciples freeze, confusion and fear mingling in their eyes. Can love speak, even when betrayal is inevitable? Can a heart that knows sorrow still offer mercy without hesitation? The night holds its breath, the world suspended between shadow and light. The moment arrives, taut with inevitability. Judas clasps Jesus' hand in a tremulous grip, then releases, leaning forward into the fateful kiss. Jesus remains still, eyes locked on his betrayer, tear glistening silently. Around them, the disciples clutch at robes, unable to intervene, hearts pounding with fear and disbelief. Could one heart betray another so completely and still be met with love? The wind seems to whisper. Every sound is magnified. The snap of a twig, the rustle of leaves, as if creation itself witnesses this collision of destiny, human frailty, and divine sorrow. The grove is still again, but the night has shifted forever. The olive grove trembles with silence, broken by the approaching clatter of soldiers' sandals on the stone path. Judas steps forward, lantern held high, eyes darting between the trees and Jesus. "Friend," he whispers, voice trembling, and presses a kiss to Jesus' cheek, the mark of betrayal that destiny has written. Jesus meets the gaze of his betrayer, sorrowful but unwavering. The disciples react, Peter clenching fists, hearts hammering with shock and confusion. Can love survive the first act of treachery? Can grace endure the cruelty of one who once walked beside you? The night holds its breath, shadows stretching long as the soldiers advance. The soldiers move quickly, ropes in hand, the click of armor punctuating the night. Jesus does not resist, his eyes calm, voice soft yet commanding. "Who do you seek?" they reply. "Jesus of Nazareth." "I am he answers. At the sound, the men hesitate, a flicker of awe in their eyes, as if touched by a presence beyond comprehension. Peter steps forward, fists clenched, ready to defend, yet Jesus raises a hand, stopping him. Can one act of compassion outweigh the force of fear? Can the heart of God bend even the will of soldiers? The grove quivers with the weight of destiny in motion. Ropes wind around Jesus' wrists as he allows himself to be led away. Peter's heart pounds, Mary Magdalene's eyes glisten with tears, John's jaw tight with worry. Judas trails silently, eyes averted, the weight of his choice settling like a stone in his chest. Every step echoes on the stone path, reverberating like the heartbeat of fate itself. Can the soul of a betrayer ever find peace? Can love extend even as the world conspires to crush it? The olive trees sway, the night air heavy with grief, and history shifts with every measured step toward the city gates. Inside the shadowed halls of Caiaphas, the high priest sits, robed and stern, eyes sharp as daggers. Jesus is brought before him, calm and silent, his gaze steady. Caiaphas leans forward, voice cold. "Are you the Messiah, the Son of God?" Jesus answers softly, "You have said it." Peter lingers outside, peeking through a doorway, fear coiling around his heart. The chamber echoes with tension and accusation, every word a blade in the heavy air. Can truth stand against the weight of lies and power? Can courage survive in the shadow of injustice? The night presses close, as if the walls themselves hold their breath. Peter waits outside, trembling heart torn between courage and fear. A servant girl approaches, eyes suspicious, voice sharp. You were with him too. Peter's throat tightens, words faltering. I do not know him, he whispers, voice breaking, fear defeating loyalty. The first denial has fallen, yet the weight of destiny lingers. Inside, Jesus bears the mockery and plotting silently, his heart heavy with compassion even for the one who denies him. Can love endure the denials of those it has nurtured? Will mercy prevail, even when hearts falter? The night presses and the city sleeps unaware of the sorrow echoing in its streets. The high priest's courtyard is cold and shadowed, torches flickering against stone walls. Jesus stands before Caiaphas, hands still bound, eyes calm and resolute. Accusations fly like arrows, blasphemy, treachery, rebellion. The priest's voices rise, the disciples' whispers tremble at the edges of the hall. Peter leans against a column, shoulders hunched, face pale with fear. Can truth survive the weight of falsehood? Can courage hold when all eyes accuse? Every heartbeat echoes like a drum of destiny as Jesus endures in silence, a beacon of mercy and unwavering love. The council hurls questions, each more cruel than the last, seeking a crack in Jesus' composure. His answers are measured, calm, yet each carries a quiet authority that unsettles the priests. Peter shifts uneasily, glancing between Jesus and the accusing crowd. Fear coils around his heart like a serpent, tightening with every passing moment. Can loyalty survive the pressure of fear? Will the heart remain faithful when courage falters? The courtyard seems to close in, every shadow a mirror of doubt, every whisper a reminder of human weakness. A guard steps forward, pointing at Peter. You were with him, he accuses. Peter's face pales. Memories of the supper, the garden, the kiss of betrayal flash before him. He swallows hard. I do not know him, he whispers, voice breaking. The first denial escapes, trembling in the cold night air. Judas' earlier act of betrayal echoes silently through the courtyard, yet Peter feels its weight anew. Can the heart forgive itself for failing? Will the soul survive a moment's weakness? Each denial is a shadow falling across his spirit, yet the story is far from over. The night deepens, and Peter moves away from the courtyard, huddled in shadow. Mary Magdalene watches from a distance, heart aching for both teacher and disciple. John follows quietly, silent witness to the unfolding grief. Inside, Caiaphas deliberates, plotting the next steps, his mind sharp, calculating, unfeeling. Peter's heart pounds with regret, a storm of shame and longing for courage. Can love endure betrayal and denial? Can mercy reach even those who falter most deeply? The night presses close, shadows growing long, every stone bearing witness to sorrow and destiny intertwined. Inside the courtyard, the council prepares for the formal trial. Voices rising, papers shuffled, steps echoing. Jesus stands silent, his calm a quiet defiance against injustice. Peter hides in shadow, heart heavy, watching every move, aware that his second denial looms. The night seems to whisper the inevitability of suffering and the weight of destiny pressing down on fragile human hearts. Will courage awaken before it is too late? Can loyalty be reclaimed once lost? The night waits, breath held, for the moment that will fracture trust yet illuminate mercy. The streets of Jerusalem are crowded with soldiers, priests, and curious onlookers. Jesus carries the wooden cross, each step heavy with the weight of sin and destiny. His shoulders strain beneath the timber, yet his eyes remain calm, reflecting compassion even for those who jeer. Peter watches from the shadows, guilt etched across his face. Mary Magdalene clutches her chest, heart breaking with every faltering step. Can love endure the cruelty of the world? Can mercy survive the weight of human hatred? Dust swirls around his feet, sun blazing overhead, and the city seems to tremble in recognition of the moment that will change eternity. At Golgotha, the sky darkens as Jesus is nailed to the cross. Wood bites into his wrists, spikes piercing his feet, yet his gaze lifts to the heavens. He whispers, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." The crowd is silent for a heartbeat, then erupts into chaos. Mockery, fear, and awe intertwining. Peter collapses to his knees, weeping, while Mary Magdalene and John stand nearby, helpless but present. Can a heart endure suffering for others? Can love extend even as the world lashes out? The earth quivers beneath the weight of grief, and a divine sorrow hangs in the air like a heavy veil. Above the city, the sky darkens as if mourning. Jesus gasps for breath, each word a prayer. My God, why have you forsaken me?" His voice trembles yet resonates with eternal love. The soldiers shift uncomfortably. The crowd falters, and even nature seems to pause. Mary Magdalene wipes her tears, her gaze locked on his face, seeing both agony and unwavering mercy. Can love truly embrace betrayal, cruelty, and death? Will grace survive the darkest hour? Every heartbeat, every sigh carries the weight of redemption. The moments stretch, eternity compressed into pain and prayer. Jesus speaks to the repentant thief beside him, voice gentle. "Today you will be with me in paradise." Even amidst agony, his heart embraces mercy. Peter watches from a distance, shame mingling with awe, realizing the depth of what he has denied and what love endures. Can forgiveness ever be complete? Can a heart broken by betrayal still beat in compassion? The cross stands against the darkened sky, a testament to suffering, mercy, and hope. As his final breath nears, Jesus looks down at the city, eyes filled with compassion and grief. "Father, into your hands I commit my spirit." The earth quakes, the sky rumbles, and silence descends, broken only by the soft rustle of olive trees nearby. The disciples weep openly. Mary Magdalene wails. Peter collapses to the ground, and the crowd stands frozen, some in awe, some in fear. Can love truly conquer death? Can mercy endure when the world seems darkest? And in that silence, a promise lingers of hope, resurrection, and a heart that never ceases to forgive. The dawn breaks over a quiet, empty tomb. The stone has been rolled away, and sunlight spills into the darkness, illuminating an empty space where sorrow once lingered. Mary Magdalene enters, heart pounding, eyes wide with wonder. Peter and John follow hesitantly, disbelief and awe mirrored in their expressions. The silence is not empty. It hums with the promise of life renewed. Could death ever hold the heart that loves unconditionally? Can grief give way to joy when mercy reigns eternal? The empty tomb stands as a testament to love that refuses to be broken, even by betrayal or suffering. Mary Magdalene falls to her knees, tears of relief and wonder streaming down her face. A gentle voice calls her name, and she turns to see Jesus, radiant yet familiar, standing nearby. Her heart swells with recognition and disbelief. Peter and John approach, eyes wide, steps trembling. Can love truly conquer death? Can mercy endure the pain of betrayal and suffering? Even the air seems to shimmer with the presence of the risen Christ. And in that moment, all doubt, fear, and grief are touched by eternal hope. Jesus speaks to his disciples, voice soft but filled with authority and love. "Peace be with you. As I have loved you, love one another. Forgive as I have forgiven you." The words hang in the morning air, transforming hearts. Peter feels the weight of past denials lift slightly. Mary Magdalene trembles with renewed devotion, and John silently absorbs the miracle of mercy made real. Can a heart broken by betrayal beat anew with courage? Can love rise from despair? In that golden light, hope rises, eternal and unshakable. The disciples gather in the garden, sharing silent glances, hearts touched by awe and understanding. Judas' shadow lingers in memory, yet the weight of grace fills the space where despair once held sway. Peter clasps Mary Magdalene's hand briefly, a gesture of shared reverence and human fragility. Every bird song, every breeze through the olive trees seems to carry the whisper of mercy, reminding them that love endures beyond betrayal, beyond grief, beyond fear. Can hearts learn from sorrow? Can forgiveness ever truly be complete? The garden breathes with quiet testimony. Yes, always yes. As the sun rises fully, casting golden light across Jerusalem, Jesus departs briefly, leaving the disciples in awe and reflection. They look at one another, hearts lighter, eyes open to the truth. Betrayal, denial, suffering, all were met with unending love. The story is no longer one of despair, but of redemption, mercy, and hope eternal. If the Son of God wept for the one who betrayed him, can any heart doubt that love endures for all? Can mercy truly reach even the deepest shadow? In that morning light, every soul remembers. Love never abandons, forgiveness never ends, and grace remains infinite and unwavering.